10 videos from Huston Kold, and in each video we will learn how to master his style. In today's video we are going to reveal the secret of his famous iPhone animation. This video is very simple, but before we get to this video, it will be really nice of you to leave out a like and subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed yet. Alright, so here we are inside of Adobe After Effects, and we have this animation that we want to recreate. So let's watch the animation first.
On a new iPhone to replace their previous generation iPhone. On a new.
So as you see, we will have a model of an iPhone which scales, and then it rotates to the right, and then it transitions to the left again. And we have some basic text animation along with some lens flare texture with the background. So as you see, the breakdown is really easy. Now we are going to recreate this animation. So we can use the reference for the timing if we want to go step by step, so which I'm gonna do. But first, let's just turn off the audio. And what I'm going to do is that I'm just gonna start with the iPhone model. So this is the challenging part. So with the recent changes to Adobe After Effects, which is like around 2024 or 25, the After Effects now supports the GLB models, which roughly speaking, these models are just basically the 3D models which you can import into Adobe After Effects, and this will help you to animate 3D models inside of Adobe After Effects. Now I have a dedicated video showing how you can work with the GLB models. If you are struggling, you can watch this video. So for example, in here I have an iPhone model, and I'm just gonna import it in here. So as you see, as soon as I import it, we will have something like this. So now the transform panel, if I open it, you will see that it's the same as the 3D transform. So we can use for example, the Z rotation, I don't know, the Y rotation, X rotation, any rotation that you want. And you see, as you see, basically we are animating a 3D model instead of Adobe After Effects. So now everything is simple. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just gonna start within scale. So I'm just gonna set the scale to 0, and let's just go a few frames forward. So as you see around here, the iPhone scales. So I'm just gonna scale it, let's say, into 90%, and then we need to work on the rotation. So let's just set a keyframe on rotation. So I'm just gonna rotate it for, let's say, just 45 degrees. Let's go on the beginning, and let's just add one entire rotation to the rotation value. So as you see, we will have something like this. So this is good, but the animation is a little bit bad. So let's just turn off the reference for now, so we can focus on the animation. So as you see, the animation is a little bit boring. So let's just set the easings on 70%. That is good. We can just offset it a bit. That is great. Now if we turn on the reference one more time, so we can just focus on it better. So as you see right now, the iPhone will shift into right. So how we are going to do that? So this is easy as well. So we just need a camera. So I'm just gonna add a new camera, and the type is set on 2-node, and the preset is 80mm. Now, one downside with the 2-node camera is that it is really hard to control the camera with the position and point of interest. So in order to control the camera better, we will need a node. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to create a new null object, and I'm going to call it the master controller. So this will basically control the camera 1. So I'm going to parent the camera 1 to the master controller, and I'm going to turn the controller into 3D so we can work with it better. So right now what I'm going to do is that I'm just gonna, press P to reveal the position, and I'm just gonna set it 2 keyframes. And one thing that we need to do first, we need to turn the rotation to flat one. So I'm just gonna set the rotation to 90 degrees. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm just gonna use the position to sort of fix the positioning. Great, this is the positioning. Now let's just turn off the reference so we can see it better. The iPhone rotates in, and as you see, it's a little bit slow. So I'm just going to set it on 70%. but as you see, the rotation is a little bit too slow. So I'm just gonna decrease the last keyframe to half. This is exactly what we want. Now on the last step, let's just reveal the reference one more time so we can see it better. It rotates to the left. Now, I have mentioned this in my last video. The Huston Kold editing style is all about the camera animation, and one thing that is really important in the Huston Kold editing style is that in this type of animation the camera never stops. So if I want to use this master controller for the second animation, the animation will look really bad. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just gonna duplicate this master controller one more time. I'm gonna press U to reveal the keyframes. I'm just gonna delete them. And in order to make this node work, we need to parent the first node to the second one. So what I'm going to do is that when the animation is around here, I'm just gonna set another position keyframe, and I'm gonna just use the timing, and I'm gonna shift the iPhone to here. So something like this. So as you see, the rotation is a little bit different. So we can just flip the iPhone if we want. So this is up to you. So this will just help the HU. So if you want it to be like the Huston Kold, but I'm personally fine with it. So I'm just not gonna change anything regarding it. So this is something like this, and I'm gonna set it on 70%, and we are going to be done with the camera animation. So this was all about the iPhone animation. So as you see, it was pretty easy. So now let's just go towards the background animation. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just gonna start with a solid layer, and let's just rename it to black background. And then if I reveal the reference, you will see that we have some broken lens flares in here. So I'm just gonna open the texture folder, and I have two broken lens flares texture. So I'm just gonna bring one of them in here, and I'm gonna scale it, and let's just set the no mode on the screen. So this will remove the white. So this will remove the black pixels, and I'm gonna use the tint effect. And let's just use the white map to set the color to red. So this is basically similar background to what we have in here. So now as you see, but let's just also add a CC vignette. Let's just also make it a bit darker like this. Good. Now the iPhone comes, it rotates to here. So as you see, when the iPhone rotates, so let's just reveal it one more time. You will see that we have a white background along with some broken textures in here. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just gonna add a new layer. Let's just duplicate this one, and let's just call it the white background. And let's just also set its color on white. Okay, let's just turn it off. And we're just gonna use the wipe transition to sort of reveal this background. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just gonna add a linear wipe effect. So this will basically, so I accidentally added on the black background. So let's just go into white. So what I'm going to do is that if I add it, as you see, this will exactly give the similar effect. So we just need to change the wipe angle. So I'm just going to set it on 0. And now, as you see, this is something that we want. So I'm just going to set the transition completion, and then I'm just gonna get a few frames back, and we're gonna do something like this. So it's reversed, so I'm just gonna use the time reverse keyframe to fix this issue. And then when it's in here, almost, we're just gonna use the, as you see, we just need to use the basic opacity to fix the issue that we have in here. So also we have set this by mistake on 3D. So when it's in here, I'm just gonna set a keyframe on the opacity, and then I'm just gonna turn it down into 0. So basically we are just using this reference for our time, but that is all. So one thing that we need to do on the last step is that we need to work on the text. So let's just reveal the reference one more time. So this is on a new iPhone. So let's just start with the text. Let's just turn on the fill on a new. So this is a little bit too big. Let's just make it smaller. Okay, good. And let's just go into transform panel, and in animate, let's just add an opacity. In the range selector, I'm just gonna decrease the range to 0. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm just gonna use the start value to add it text like this. Okay. So as you see, text was a little bit bright, so we need to add a deep glow effect. And let's just decrease the exposure, and let's just same as the radius. Okay, this is good. Now when it's around here, I'm just gonna cut the text, and let's just add a iPhone text. It was a little bit bigger, but as you see in the reference, if I reveal it one more time, we will have some stroke around it. So what we can do is that we just simply will duplicate this layer, and let's just turn on the stroke, and let's turn off the fill, and we can just use the scale to scale the stroke a bit, and we can just parent it to something like this, and we can just push this one beneath the iPhone, and we need to cut the beginning of the iPhone layer. So we'll have something like this on a new iPhone, and then as you see, we'll have a screen transition like this. We just don't need that anymore. Let's just cut it on here. Okay, and then basically let's just reveal the text one more time. And in here, we can just simply animate to replace there. So as you see, these are just basically some text that I'm not gonna animate because I want this video to be as short as possible. But however, the important part on here is that if I turn off the reference, we need to work on a few effects to make it look like the Huston Kold effect. So the first effect I'm just gonna add is the posterized time effect. So by reducing the posterized time effect, so by reducing the frame rate, we'll get the closer look to the Huston Kold editing style. So another effect that I'm gonna add is the film grunge by the Boris and Effects. So let's just add it. So this will give us exactly the effect like the Huston Kold. So we just need to, turn down the opacity a bit, and we're just gonna reveal it when it's in here.
To replace their previous
So as you see, we'll have this animation which is close to what we have in the Huston Kold. And here we are at the end of this video, and I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave out a like and subscribe to the channel, as it would help me out a lot for future content. Thank you so much. Goodbye.